He is the voice behind one of Marvel's most regal, fierce, and complicated antiheroes, the Submariner himself, the King of Atlantis, Namor in Marvel Rivals. With his commanding presence, cultural pride, and powerful delivery, he's brought new depth and fire to the character. Please help me welcome to DJ's Universal Comics the incredibly talented actor, writer, and voice of Namor, Daniel Marin.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
It's that deep voice that does it for me. Like
Yeah.
you, like that you already like sold the character for me. It's like that bass. So has that bass always been like your saving grace when it came to like approaching things or even getting what you want in life?
That's actually really funny. Because I'm a tall guy, I'm 6'3", and I always feel like I'm super intimidating to people when they're not expecting it. So I usually try to like make my pitch a little bit higher when I talk to people. But then when I get a character like Namor, who's like this regal thing, I've told this story before, but when I got the audition, I got it late. Well, I sent it in late, and my agent said, "Are you gonna send this in?" And I looked at it and I was like, "Okay, he's the king of the seas. Who's the most regal person I can think of?" And then I thought, Mufasa. He says, yeah, where he says, Simba, everything the light touches is our kingdom. I thought, well, that's Namor right there. So he says, my kingdom rises as swiftly as the seas. I stole Mufasa.
Well, I mean, no one can steal James Earl Jones, right? But we all can have that. Like, it's good that you use that as a reference, though, because that shows how important, like, voice actors and characteristics kind of span over genres, generations, different walks of life, if you will. And, just even today, like, this is my first comic book day. Like, what should I expect from today, from the fandom at least, that shows up?
Honestly, I think this is a big mix of fans from all over, the place. There's people that just like comic books in general. There's people that like Marvel. I'm super grateful that I get to be a superhero in a comic video game because I'm a huge gamer. I love comics. To be able to be, not just any superhero, be Namor, who's like, so cool in my opinion. It brings fans from so many different places, and it's also cool because Namor happens to be in the Avengers, in X Men, in so many different things. So it's there's fans of every little group that come in, and that's really cool. Plus, like, look how this place is so lively and busy, and it's just really cool to see so many people come together on an event like this.
You've spoken about how personal Nemours like Latin culture is to you, and as you are American Costa Rican, right? How has bringing your own heritage into the role shaped your performance as the King of Atlantis?
Yeah, so I get messages a lot. People being like, "Thank you for representing, Hispanics, Latin Americans." It's such an honor, honestly. It's so cool to see a superhero. What MCU did with Namor. He wasn't always Mexican or Latin American. There was the MCU who decided we're gonna make this character this way. I'm grateful because I wouldn't have a job in the first place, but also, when I got the audition, we don't really know where he's from, but he's or what character it is, but he says it's Latin American. In my mind, I thought, well, Latin America is huge. There's so many countries that are connecting to the ocean. I didn't want to make him necessarily just Mexican. So luckily, I've lived in many countries in South America. And so I was able to bring a little bit of the accent from different places, even have some Brazilian in there, some little bit of Argentinian, Costa Rican, Mexican. There's a bunch of different things that I try to mix in there because Namor is the king of the seas, not the king of the Mexican beaches. So it was a thing where I wanted to like incorporate as much as I could and bring that heritage in, and things like even in the game, his whale is Giganto. When we were recording, I was like, how do you guys want me to say it? Do you want Giganto or do you want Giganto? Because he would say it in Spanish, and they love that. And it also goes with the way Namor is pronounced. Some characters call me Namor, some say Namor. I think it's the same as my name. It's Daniel in English, Daniel in Spanish. And it just depends on what language you're speaking, what language the characters are speaking. But the fact that some characters do call me Namor in the game, it's just really cool because it kind of shows that like the representation matters, and people will respect it. If you just say, "Hey, I want to be called Namor," people will say, "Oh, it's Namor. I'll make the effort," which I think is the most important part.
Making the effort, like that's what we talk about a lot, especially with New Hollywood Magazine, is like find the people that are willing to a stand on the right side of history, b, like I said, make sure that their intentions and purpose line up, if you will, and also show up in the world like, without conviction, and I think, like you say, that it depends on the different language, but I think, characterizations like yours and, like I said, representation and culture is a universal language, and fans are loving your performance. What's been the most surprising or even fun interaction that you've received since you've been voicing Namor?
Honestly, because I also stream myself playing the game, and my stream is well, not really. I started playing him now. I because oh my god, I lorded Namor very early on, and now I have five lords. I'm working on Tony Stark is my sixth one that I'm working on, but it's fascinating because with my stream I created certain things we say on the stream become merch, and they take a life of their own. And like earlier, somebody walked in with some of my merch that said Namor Nation on it.
Namor is known as the submariner, the ruler of the seas with incredible strength. I mean, we can go on and on. The perfect oceanic body, the brows are on point, and then even like the ankles are wings. Like, I mean, that's like a flex everywhere. Like, would you say that you and Namor share any powers in real life? Maybe a love for the ocean, or do you have some of that same like fiery passion that burns inside?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I'll start off with saying that I was literally at the aquarium petting a stingray with my son when I got the call that I booked the part. So I think somewhere, yeah. My last name is Marin. He's a submariner. I think we're aligned in the ocean somewhere. But I think in my interpretation of Namor is that he's misunderstood because he's always seen as this villain, this guy who like comes and destroys humanity. But the way I see him, he's a very loyal person, and if you are on his side, he's going to be the best ally. And if you get in his way, he's going to be your worst enemy. And I think that I kind of agree with that. If we are on the same vibe, wavelength, then we're going to get along super well. And if not, we're not. And that I think that's kind of maybe the similarities that we have. He's a lot stronger than I am for sure.
I mean, are your ankles winged?
Yeah, I didn't want to say that because then that'd be bragging. Also, my amazing six pack, I hide it. So because otherwise people would be like, "Oh, he's too similar to the character."
Like, take me through seeing your character design for the first time. Like, did you were you like smitten a little bit? Did you have like a man crush?
It was fascinating because the interpretation that they did with Rivals is so different from anything that's been done before. And when I saw him, I thought like, "Wow, he's something." Like it was just such a weird sort of experience to be like, that's who I am now, and so that was very interesting. And I've subsequently just like fallen in love with every time they come up with a new skin for the character. They're always so good. I want them all. I try to rotate them when I play because I think they're just so cool. He's got such an iconic, cool look. I love it.
I was asking Laura when she came by the couch. I was like, she has such a what are the kids saying now? Like goon, they're like gooning skins, if you will. So I said, do the people ever like misconstrue that? Like they see like the sexy characters like Namor and Emma. Like, do you ever get like kind of taken aback or tripped up when people kind of like blend the two, if you will?
It's such a weird thing because for me in particular, I started streaming when the game came out, and I have a very strong like online persona with Namor, and so people have a hard time separating me from Namor, and I think we've just sort of become one. Um, but then they're like, "Hey, when are you gonna cosplay?" I'm like, "I have a dad bod. I can do. I'll do the dad bod version of any skin."
We'll start with Jeff the Land Shark. That's kind of like, that's very low commitment, if you will. Yeah, exactly. But listen, it's 2026. The dad bod is in, so release the horn, right? Like, dude. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Now, before I let you go, I know your fans are lined up. They want some photos. They want pictures and everything. I want to hear the best, like the iconic. You don't have to do an ultimate, but like, what is your favorite voice line as Namor in Rivals?
Okay, I have a bunch, but this is the one that I like recently. Elia Mountjoy, who voices Winter Soldier, loves this line, and so this is for him. You cannot wash your hands of Namor.
just hearing that, I'm like, yes, it's in my eardrums for sure. I got like goosebumps. You can't see, but I have goosebumps, and my ankles are definitely winged too. So, thank you so much, Daniel, for being here. Happy Free Comic Book Day to you. I hope to see you. Everywhere else in the whole wide world. Comic Con is coming up. Are you excited for that?
I'm super excited. I hope we get to do something really cool again this year. Last year was such an amazing experience, so I'd love to go back. But yeah, yeah,
Any final last words to all the comic book fans?
yeah. Don't get in my way, because those who oppose me shall be left to drown in my wake.
And there you have it. Thank you, Daniel.